The world is filled with fluffy, ethereal podcasts about spiritual growth, transformation, and inspiration. This isn't one of them. Find Your Flow is about what happens when life stops working, when you've built a world that checks every box, but somehow squeezes the air out of your lungs, when you're stuck, heavy, and can't tell if it's burnout, anxiety, or the weight of pretending to be someone you're not. Let's get into it. No filters, no scripts, no curated sound bites. Just real conversations with people who have been there. Real stories, real insight, no fluff. Just flow. Welcome to Find Your Flow, Zoa Conner. I appreciate you being here with me today.
I am really excited to have this conversation with you. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you. So let's kick this off. I'll ask my question, and that is simply, what does Find Your Flow mean to you?
For me, finding flow is about resonating with all the things that are happening with me for the day. So I like to think about my day as having a flow to it, which involves a little bit of business, a little bit of personal, a little bit of exercise, a little bit of cooking, a little bit of gardening, a little bit of thought, a little bit of everything. And my favorite days are the ones where that flow happens unimpeded by anything on the calendar.
That sounds dreamy.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would agree.
And,
Those are the
and
best days. And I'm pretty good at
absolutely.
flowing within blocks,
Yeah, for sure.
But I've always kind of eschewed the idea that, you schedule yourself with these blocks, a block to do this and a block to do that. And I was like, that feels so clunky. What if I'm done early? Am I supposed to just hang around and wait? Or do I get to flow to the next one early? That sounds like it's breaking the rules. And I am all for rule breaking, but I prefer to not even have them to begin with.
Oh, amen, sister. I'm right there with you. No rules. I've never understood the
Yep.
whole punching the card for time and checking in and checking out. I understand that there is a place for that. I just do not work in my best and optimum in that rigidity.
Yep.
So that
There
kind of
needs to be a
brings
little bit
me
of
to,
trust in what you're able to do,
yes, exactly. And that brings me to the real crux of the reason why I wanted to have you on here with me. And that is that these words they really stood out. Personalized retreats. What? I mean, I love self-care. I am a huge advocate for it. I love holistic health. I love wellness. Incorporating all of that as like 100% lifestyle, that's flow
Mhm.
for me. What works, what doesn't, when it works, when it doesn't, figuring it all out in the moment. So
Right.
the concept of a personalized wellness retreat. Come on now, Zoe. I mean,
I
come on.
know. It's a pretty awesome idea. So if you think if you've ever been on a retreat or you've read about them or you have a friend who's gone, right? They tend to be associated with these larger group events. Maybe it's yoga based, maybe it's business based. You're all doing the same thing. And, of course, you're all getting what you need out of it, but it's curated for the group experience.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's awesome. And it works really well for certain people and for certain goals. And for other people, it really doesn't work very well. And it's for those people or those instances in life sometimes that the personalized retreat idea makes a whole lot of sense to me. Right. So, with what I do in my functional wellness practice is help people with their lifestyle, all the lifestyle things, exercise, food, hormones, detox, sleep, all the things. Right. But that's a very personalized task, right? Your biology, your needs, your life now versus your life 5 years ago. Right. So, that process of creating that lifestyle has to have some flow to it, right? There's a evolution to get into that ideal lifestyle, and then heaven forbid should anything change, because then your
Right.
lifestyle has to adjust to accommodate that change, right? And so what I found is that when you want to do this work in a retreat setting, first of all, if you've decided, say in January or March or whatever your birthday month is, that you want to make these changes and you're ready, why should you have to wait for 6 months for the group retreat to happen?
Yes.
You're
You're
ready now.
speaking my language, so I love
You're
this.
motivated now.
Yes.
Now is when it needs to happen, which means it's going to have to be scheduled for you right now, which means it's automatically personalized. It's private. It's all about you and your needs, right? And then the question is, where do you go? Well, I'm taking a group of women to Iceland in a month in November. It's a small group, but as I'm checking in with people who seem like they might benefit from going on this retreat, sometimes what I hear is, oh, but not Iceland, or "Oh, not that month," or all these reasons to say no. And I want to give you reasons to say yes to improving your self-care. Which means we pick the place together. Where is the right place for you to go? Is Iceland too cold? Do you need warmth in order to be able to create flow of your blood and your lymph system and get in a good mood? Do you need wind whipping through your hair? Do you need feet in the water? What's the right place for you to go to create that balance so that you can think well and
Hmm.
reasonably come up with a new lifestyle pattern for yourself, right? And so personalized, where you go, when you go, and then of course, what you do there, right? There's the work with me, which is thinking work. It's exploratory work. It's trying things. It's looking at things from a new lens, a new perspective. And then there's the more practical things. Where are you going to eat? What are you going to eat?
Hmm.
Where are you going to walk? What are the options? And so that all is also personalized for what you need. If you're coming off a knee replacement, maybe you don't need a hike in the mountains. Maybe you need a massage, right? And so just because when many people buy into a retreat, they're buying into the transformation, right? The
Hmm.
aspirational goal of the retreat, but they're also sometimes buying into the details. That detail doesn't work for me, so therefore I'm going to choose something else. And I want them to choose
Absolutely.
themselves, exactly what they need. So it's as personalized as I can make it.
I love that. So, would you take several individuals who have the same, say, destination in mind and put them in a small group setting? Or would you truly go one on one somewhere?
So my intention is that this is truly private. This is about you, your needs, and you're not going to focus on your needs if you brought your sister or some stranger with you,
True.
right? You're going to focus. Women tend to be caregivers. Even if we have a high powered professional job, we're still caregiving for other people. We're caregiving for our coworkers, for our subordinates at work. If we're managers, we're caregiving for family. We're caregiving for the chick down the street or that you met at church. That's our nature. That's our estrogen balance, right? That's what makes us who we are. And you're not going to do that as well when you're focused on the people you brought with you, right? So you could have two people who have similar desires to make changes,
Hmm.
and they might even find themselves being attracted to the same destination. But that doesn't mean I'm going to automatically put them together.
Got it. Got it.
Could we make a private retreat, which is you and your sister, because you both have come to this realization that you need to make these changes? Yes. But your consultations are going to be different.
Hmm.
Unless, if you're living together and you're sharing food and you're sharing space, there's a very good argument for a partner or a couple's retreat in that kind of a sense, whether it's your
Sure.
sister, your mother, or whatever, right? But you're still tempted to pay more attention to them than to you.
I can absolutely understand that. I'm one who I'm not a big go to a retreat kind of person. I don't care for large groups. I don't care for structured activities. I
Right.
don't like to be told when I'm going to eat and what I'm going to eat.
Mhm.
I'm just not a person who wants to go away with a group of strangers and then everything about me has to change for that amount of period of time. Right? All of a sudden I'm vegan when at home I'm not. You know what I
Right.
mean? And
Right. You're not yourself. And the
yes,
goal of my retreats is that you get a chance to become more of yourself than you can at home. If everything at home was working really, really well for you, you wouldn't be contacting me about this retreat.
Yes. Good point.
Okay. Because you're contacting me about this retreat and these needs to make these changes, we know home isn't ideal for whatever reason, right? And so let's put you in a place where you're closer to what you need, right?
I love
Where
that. It's
it's
not an
perhaps
escape.
being more provided for. Yeah, no, it's not an escape, because what happens on the escape vacations is you go, you feel great, you go home, you feel like crap.
Yes.
It happens
And
within less
and
than a week.
that
And then you want another
180
vacation.
degrees, like that difference
Yeah,
is so in your face that it really makes you sort of hate your everyday life. And I'm
right.
like,
And my goal is to have you love your everyday
yeah.
life and have it be supporting your overall well being in as many ways as possible. And that shouldn't be hard. But in our modern world, it is hard.
Yes,
And
for
the
sure.
more we have around us and the more information we have being thrown at us via the internet, the harder it is for us to assess for ourselves what's the right thing to do. I read
Yeah.
about this food, I read about this supplement, I read about this exercise. My coworker told me about this. I saw this
Mhm.
over here. It all looks good, right? That's
But you
great
don't know if it's
marketing,
good for you.
but you don't know if it's good for you. And if you try it and it doesn't work, was it your fault? Was it that
Right.
practice's fault? Or was it the fault that what you needed was two things to come and work together for you and you only
Mm.
had one of them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that
I
make
know a
sense?
lot of people in my life that it's like this constant hunt and peck for changes in
Yeah,
their life, right? Like I read this
right.
article, I should be, I don't know, taking in more fiber. So all of a sudden for a 2 weeks period of time, there's this huge influx of fiber, but nothing happens. And
Oh,
then,
actually, things happen. They get more constipated.
well, I was going to say, I mean, like literally, that
Yeah,
nothing is happening. There is no flow
right.
at that point.
Yes, yes. And you need the appropriate flow in all the ways, right?
Yes.
And so then you blame, okay, well, now I need less fiber. Okay, well, what you needed was fiber plus movement plus hydration plus the
Yeah.
sodium to keep the water in long enough to absorb. It's complicated, right? And so oftentimes what I find is that we are so good at whatever it is that we've chosen to do with our lives, whatever career path, whatever activities, but wellness is often not one of them.
It's
Right. And so
amazing.
you might
Yeah.
be a spectacular engineer or a really fabulous business founder, right? Or you might be a really great nurse or doctor, my
Mhm.
favorite clients, because there's the lens that they're looking through is through the lens of looking for problems. That's a stressed
Mhm.
state of mind, right? Your brain looks for problems in order to keep you safe and alive. It's not a healing state. If you want to get in a healing state, you're going to need to calm down your nervous system, right? So is that magnesium? Is that breathing? Is that movement? What is the thing that will help calm you down? Is it the fact that you have some mold toxicity from water damage in your house? It could be almost anything, but you know that whenever you just are focusing on the negatives and the wrong and the things that are making you grumpy, shall we say,
Mhm.
we know that you're not balanced. And that holistic frame of mind that bring to looking at your lifestyle is not one that you are currently immersed in. You're immersed in putting out fires.
Yeah. Defensive. Yeah. Wow. So, how does this work? Someone contacts you. Where do they
Well,
get
of course,
started?
the
What?
first thing we do is we have a chat, right? Because the question always needs to be, I know that lifestyle is crucial to how you feel. I
Mhm.
also know that lifestyle is hard to keep up with sometimes, right? Whenever we're busy, whenever we're stressed, it's often the first thing that you drop, right? You'll drop the walk in the morning when the sun changes and now it's dark and you don't want to go
Mhm.
outside anymore. You're busy with a kid or a project at work and now you're grabbing a quick lunch and eating at your desk, not making homemade food to bring in, right? You'll easily stay up late to finish something instead of prioritizing sleep. So wellness is often the first thing to go. So my question is always, are you ready to make this a priority? Because if you're not, the retreat won't work. It'll be
Yeah.
a vacation. I'm happy to help you with a vacation if that's what you need, right? But I would rather you think about it as a mini vacation every time you take a walk or every time you go to the kitchen to make food,
Oh, I like that.
right?
I like that change.
Right? So when I have women who are working from home, they get a little tiny vacation every time do they come to my brick and mortar studio to take a yoga class or get in the sauna or even
Yeah.
just pick up an order, right? It's an act of self-care to do those things, right? So it's that assessment. Where are we? Are you ready to make self-care your priority? Because if so, then I am all in. I will do anything I can to help you, but I'm not your mom. I can't make you do it. I can keep you inspired. I can keep you accountable. I can help you understand why this is a good idea. And if it's not working, we can find a solution, an alternative. But ultimately, it's not my energy that will drive your lifestyle forward. It is yours.
Oh,
So
that's a
that's the first
huge
thing.
lesson.
It is a huge lesson, right? I learned this lesson with my son when he was younger. He played violin. He has perfect pitch. He played beautifully, but it was my energy driving him
Mm,
forward. As soon as he had the option of the deciding, do I want to do this or am I doing this because I'm supposed to? He stopped.
yeah.
Did it kill me? Just a little bit, right? But again, not my energy. His
Right.
energy was needing to go someplace else. That's okay, right? So if your energy when you are 45 is all about career, that's fine. But at some point, it's going to bite you in the ass and then you'll be talking to me, right?
That's what I always
At
say. I
that
wish.
time, is a
Yeah.
retreat the right thing, right? So the next
Yeah.
step,
Yeah.
once
Yeah.
we determine, is it the right step for you? Like, is this the right time in your life? Is okay, where is the right place to go?
Mm,
Okay. And this is not a matter of I should go to my favorite lake house or I've always wanted to go to India. This
hmm
is where is the right place to put you into balance so that you can sleep and think and be more yourself, which means we're going to use the basic concepts of Ayurveda to figure out who are you and where should you be, right?
mm,
So if you are normally a person who is creative and like spends a lot of time in their brain and loves heat and you're living in a cold, dark place. My gosh, honey, you need to go to where it's warm and where you have space. Maybe a desert setting is the right one for you, right? But if you're feeling heavy and slow and like it's hard to get motivated, that may also be the right place to send you is to a warm desert. You need heat, you need
hmm
flow, you need space to move, right? And so we look at who you are and who you are right now. What's missing? And can we add that through your destination, right? If you're feeling anxious and flitty and floaty and having a
hmm
hard time with like finishing a project, finishing a whole sentence, anything like that, right? You need some grounding. You need feet in the water. You need trees to surround you, right? That's the right kind of setting. Send that person to the desert and they're just going to be floating away like a balloon,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
You said desert, and I was like, I think I might like crawl out of my skin if I went to a desert. But
Yeah.
put me in the
And again,
middle
it's not the
of.
right
I
place.
mean, I
I
go
don't care how
walking.
cool Santa
Yeah.
Fe looks on the pictures, right? You can see it in pictures. You don't have to be there, right? If you're already
Yes.
feeling so dry and so hot and irritated and like waking up all night hot, we do not send you to the desert. We send you to the cold mountains, right?
Mm.
We're going to Iceland in November with my small, intimate group of women to cool our internal chaos. That is the whole point of going to Iceland, right? Is to cool
Oh my
everyone
God.
off
Just
because everything
that
is so
statement.
agitating right now. Yeah,
Yes.
right?
To cool that
And
inner
Iceland being the
chaos.
land of fire and ice, right? There's the fire part. Okay. So let's rekindle who you are. Let's rekindle your fire, not dealing with the fires around you. Let's put out the fires around you and let you shine bright, right? Give you the energy for what's important. So that's how we pick a place to go.
Yeah. How do you incorporate food into all of this? For me, food is huge for me. And not because I'm a
Food
foodie,
is
but
hard when
because
you
I
travel.
yes, we're talking spices and cuisine that you're not normally eating on a regular basis. So I always there's this show called The Reluctant Traveler with Eugene
Mhm,
Levy,
mhm.
and I love it because he reminds me so much of myself, which is he's like, I eat certain things all the time. I do the same things all the time. And I agreed to do this travel show. And so he goes off to these individual places for, 2 days, 3 days. But it is all set up and curated just for him, and it's just enough to allow him to step outside of his comfort zone to
Right.
be able to discover more. And I look at that show and I go, yeah, that's very familiar to me. So food for me is huge in that. Like I love to travel. I love to take the tours of wherever I am, go exploring, all of that. For me, I'm not a fast food person, so I will not eat like American brands abroad. That's just not who I am. But it's also I put a lot of thought into food. What will feed me, but more what will fuel me for who I am when I'm there. Help me with
Right,
that
and
one.
that's why food is so important, right? It's important in general, and then it becomes even more important when you travel, right? So, since food is nourishing for your cells and nourishing for your energy and nourishing for your brain, right? It's not just a matter of, well, I found some food, right? It has to be the right kind of food and it has to sit well with you. And travel in general
Absolutely.
is disruptive of your nervous system. It's disruptive of your digestive system. And so sometimes your food choices might sound attractive to your brain, but not be attractive to your body because you're
Mm.
too jazzed up and energized to be able to process that food. Sometimes it's a matter of timing. You change time zones and like the meals that are available aren't right for
Yes.
your chronology, right? So when I'm taking this group to Iceland, the hotel that we're using has this multi-hour breakfast buffet, which is amazing, right? It's huge and varied and all essentially homemade. And in Iceland, pretty much
Mm.
everything is locally grown because it's really too expensive to bring everything in. So even the coffee is local, right? Because it's all heated through geothermal heating. So the food is of very high quality. And when you have a breakfast buffet, you can eat what you need when you need, and you have
Mhm.
time to digest it and process it, right? You have the most digestive power in the middle of the day. So when you travel, a bigger lunch is better than a bigger dinner, just in general,
Okay.
right? And
Okay.
probably a little cheaper as well, right? Lunches tend to be less
Oh, for sure.
expensive. And then you have the rest of the day to get that food
Mhm.
flowing through your body, take your walk afterwards, right? You have a better chance of assimilating the food and assimilating the culture,
Yeah.
right? So yeah,
It's so
food
interesting.
is very tricky.
When we were in Ireland, I noticed that every restaurant, every buffet that we went to had fresh honeycomb. And it struck me, okay, this is medicinal. Like, they're
Yes.
offering you medicine of the land, from the land for while you're there.
Mhm. Yes.
I ate honeycomb every single morning. I made it
Mhm.
an absolute practice to take my medicine first thing in the morning. Now,
Right.
our son right now is in Copenhagen, and he texted me and he said, "Mom, elderberry is everywhere." And I said, "Yes, elderberry is considered medicine there. So you eat your medicine all the
Mhm.
time." And he said, I had, what did he have? He said, I had ribs with an elderberry jam spread. And I went, well, first of all, my mouth is watering. And second, eat your medicine.
Absolutely. Those berries have some great properties. And I will make sure that my daughter knows that elderberry season is what's happening because she will be in Copenhagen in a month.
Well, wonderful. He is there. He's there for the next couple of months. He's there until Christmas. I think he comes home for Christmas.
Uh-huh.
And he's noticing what he's noticing, which is something that I also find to be really fascinating. The elderberry is more plentiful as the weather starts to change. So it's getting gray, rainy,
Correct.
high winds. And
So this, yeah,
he's
this
and
is
I'm
where the
and I keep
eating
texting him.
with
I'm like,
nature,
"Listen, yes. Yes."
yeah,
So I'm right there
yeah.
with you. I tell
Nature
him,
provides
"Drink your
what
bone
you
broth."
need. Yeah, nature provides what you need when you let her provide it, right? When
Mm.
you think you know better, that's when you end up with problems, right? So
Yes.
the the greens that grow in the wild in the springtime in the US are bitter on purpose. They are bitter because they stimulate your liver and they help cleanse your blood. This is an
Ooh,
important part of preparing for the growth that will happen in the spring, and that includes you, right? So it's funny when we go to other places in the world besides where we live, immersion in their food culture makes sense to me, but is not always easy because if it's too different and diverse from your norm, your body will not adjust quickly enough to
yeah.
match the trip length that you're taking. So your son is in Copenhagen for months. When my daughter was in Europe for the last 6 months, she would stay in one place for a whole month and
Mm,
before moving to another one, right? That's very different than a week here, a couple of days here. You have long enough to immerse and to absorb and to adjust your chronology, your sleep pattern, your digestive pattern,
yeah.
your food pattern, right? Before you go to another culture with another set of food options, another time zone, perhaps, right? And some people do really well with going big changes all at once, and other people really don't. They need slower travel, smaller steps. Right? And that's an
You're
important part for
speaking my
choosing a
language.
retreat. A retreat location, right? Is how many time zones can you hop and still have good sleep for your retreat, right? How different should the food and climate be for you to have a good experience on your retreat? Like you were talking about the desert as being a place like, please don't make me go there, right? And other people, that's what I would hear about the Iceland. Please don't make me go there. I'll be too cold, right? So when you travel, you have to go, well, I think you should go based on what's supporting your wellness goals and your interest in the culture and the places to see and whatever, especially for business travel, right? My business travel is taking me to this place, right?
Hmm.
What do I have to do to support my wellness in that place, right? One example is I have some clients who have been to Germany.
Hmm.
They loved the German beer. They loved the German people, but they were like, I didn't see the sun the entire time I was there. That was a big deal to them, right? It changed their sleep patterns because they were used to bright sun in the day and no sun at night for sleep. And here they have this kind of cloudy gray the whole time. They couldn't tell
Yeah.
when it was time to go to sleep. They couldn't tell when it was time to wake up. Their brain was a little confused.
I can see that. I feel that. Yes. So
But
this
travel
strikes
when you
me
are
as
going for a
something.
retreat, I was gonna say, travel when you go for a retreat needs to match who you are, not just what looks cool or what works for your friend.
Oh, that is amazing. I've been sort of dabbling into astrocartography, which is using your astrology as a map
Mhm.
of the world to see where different locations line up with who you are as a person. And it
Yeah.
strikes me as curious that, and if I have my astrocartography line of restoration, where does that line up in the world? And then contact you to say, I'd like to organize a retreat, a personalized retreat right here, somewhere along this line. How awesome would that be to marry those two and really support yourself? That sounds incredible to me.
Yeah. I tend to use Ayurveda as a
Hmm.
guideline for what is missing in your life. Do you need a change of temperature? Do you need a change of, you know, dryness versus oiliness and wetness? What is it that we're looking to create? But then there's always choices within those parameters, right? We used desert as an example. Does that mean you go to Santa Fe or does that mean you go to the Sahara? You know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so since and are we talking about low desert or high desert? Are we talking about hot desert or cold desert? right?
Hmm.
And so where those lie on the globe is yet one more factor, which is, yes, a transport, like how long is the flight, but also, like you said, does that align well with you? Is that a place where you want to go and be? Do you think that will make you feel good? Right?
I love that. I love this. And
It's
then
pretty
I'm
awesome.
assuming, yeah, pretty awesome. It's very awesome. I'm assuming then your expertise in travel, you know where someone could go, where I could go, what kind of services I could find there, and um I don't know, different practices maybe that could support me while I'm there.
Yeah, that's the intention. So, as part of being able to offer these private retreats, I am also a travel coach and a travel advisor. And so, the travel coach part is helping determine that location. And while I might use Ayurveda as
Mhm.
a basis because of my wellness background, there's also the what is the right place for the transformation you're trying to create for you, right? And then the travel advisor qualifications allow me to find the right place for you to stay, connect you to the
Mm,
most stress-free way to travel. Does that mean you want to stay out of a car, right? Does that mean we're looking for public transit only options? Because if so, I can't put you in a place where the only way to get there is to a car, right? Maybe
right.
you need to feel in control of your life, of as many details as possible because of whatever has been happening with you. And so putting you behind the wheel of a car is a really important aspect, right? And giving you the ability to navigate yourself there is a strength building concept,
Mm,
right? But then once you get there, what do you do? Well, there's the time with me, but then there's the time where we are filling in the lifestyle pieces that you are going to want to help you find that balance and then take home with you. So, does that mean we're looking for a massage therapist? That's in general not a complicated task, but there is that right person, that connection,
yes.
right? Who is the right
I've had
person for
horrible
you? You're going to a
experiences.
strange place. Who do you
Yes.
trust to touch your body like that, right?
Exactly.
Um,
Yes.
and if you're going to eat, where are they not going to either starve you or make you feel sick,
Yes. Yes.
right? So the idea is that I have these curated destinations, right? And no, that doesn't mean I can send you any place in the world. That I cannot curate every potential place on the globe, right? I'm not sure I can live long enough to do that. Right? But the places that I do support are places that I am providing some experience and some knowledge to create this package for you so that
Mm.
you don't have to do it for yourself.
I love that. I love that it's taking something that we all do, and if we're fortunate enough, we get to do it on a grand scale, but to take something that could and is typically used as a break from reality, right? A break from our lives and
Yes.
turning it into this opportunity to celebrate yourself, to reintroduce yourself to something new, and to not necessarily reinvent, because I don't think that that's necessarily always a good thing, because you
I
do
think
have to
about it
come
more
back
as
to life.
uncovering,
Yes,
right?
that.
Yeah. So we've put on all kinds of hats through our adult lives. We've put on all kinds of costumes for whatever it is that we needed to do, but somehow we haven't taken all of those hats and costumes off when we're done with them,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
So
isn't that
there is
such a
an
nice
inner
way to put
core
it?
to you that has been forgotten and neglected because all the other things seem like they took precedence, right? And there's a
Sure.
reason why a lot of times when people are nearing retirement age and trying to figure out what am I going to do after that, they go
Mhm.
back to what lit my fire when I was a child.
Mhm.
What were the
Mhm.
things that I valued that I put on the shelf because this other thing made more sense at the time, right?
Yeah.
A common example is something like, well, I loved singing and music and theater, but I decided that I really needed to make money, so I went to college for business,
Yes. Yes.
right? Okay, well, that doesn't mean you don't longer like that. It means that it got covered up in favor of something that made more practical sense. And
For
if we're
sure.
that, and that's in a career kind of sense. And now if we think about it in a wellness perspective, right? I have a family, I'm making food, everyone has to eat it. So I have to then provide for everyone. I love mushrooms, but no one else does. Therefore, I never eat them
I can't tell
because
you how many
I would
things I
have
no
to
longer
make it
eat
for
because
just
of the
myself. And
kids.
like, where's the, yeah, yeah, am I worthy of making a mushroom dish just for me? Well, gee, that takes time, that takes energy. Do I have it? Right. So here we are, we've
Feels
uncovered a
wasteful, all of
layer.
those
It
things.
feels wasteful. You are worthy of the mushrooms, right? And also, they're very good for you, right? But, and that's just one example, right? You take the dog for a walk. I hear this from a lot of my clients. Okay, but is the walk for the dog or for you? And they always go, it's for both of us. Okay, but who's setting the pace? The dog.
And who's choosing the direction?
And who's choosing the direction? Who's choosing when you stop? So, yes, absolutely take the dog for a walk, but then go back out for yourself. You set the pace. You decide the path. You decide the length, right? If you want to take an after dinner stroll with your husband or wife or partner or child or mother, great. But one of you is adjusting to match the other one.
Yes, yes. You're right. You're
So
absolutely correct.
that's not a walk for you. That's a walk for companionship.
Mhm.
That's a walk for digestive, but is it working? Maybe you need another walk for you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So there's where that personalization comes into play, looking at your lifestyle from the lens of what do you need rather than what are you already doing.
Oh, I love that. It's almost a break from distraction so that you can readjust you as the center of your focus. And oh my God, if
Yeah.
that's what you bring back with you, if that's the one souvenir, let that be it. Holy cow.
But luckily for my clients, they don't come back with only that. They absolutely come back with that. They also come back with a personalized guidebook of what they're going to be implementing and how to do it in phases so that it's not too many steps that just get dropped because it's hard. And then they can
Yeah.
always go back to their guidebook and reorient themselves. If they fall off the wagon, they can restart it, right? Or I can help them, right? There's an option to keep working with me after your retreat for the next year because let's be practical, lifestyle changes take time, right?
Yes. Amen.
So it takes a long time to make shifts in multiple areas, right? You want to improve your sleep. Great. That's complicated. That involves thinking about your screen time before bed. It involves thinking about the lighting in your bedroom, the noises, the time, when you ate your meal. Did you take an after dinner walk?
Mm.
What are you thinking about? Do you need some extra movement? Do you need a warm bath? Right? So there's a lot of things that contribute and help you with your sleep. It's a big overarching goal, but how you accomplish it, there's going to be an evolution, right? And so that
And to be able to
evolution
see,
happens after the retreat. The
yes.
retreat is like the breakthrough, right? Oh, now I see. Now I have a new viewpoint. Now I have a new idea or many ideas, and I have a plan, and I get home, and hell goes in a handbasket, right? Because now you're
That's
back
right.
to your home, your lighting, your work, your family, all the same things. And you had great intentions, but you need help following through. And
Yeah.
unfortunately for us, our brains want less work. So
Yes.
your brain
Yes.
wants to make it easy. It wants to conserve energy. It wants to take the quick, fast, easy route. And so you start dropping things. You stop worrying about that, checking your email an hour before bed because, that's important. Everything changes. And so this 1 year program after the retreat helps you keep going forward, not because you have to, but because you want to. And then life puts roadblocks in the way.
Mhm.
And you have to jump over the roadblocks or push them out of the way and keep going forward. You need to refuel your gas to keep going forward. That's an iterative process, right? And even though as strong minded, independent women, we always want to feel like we can do this for ourselves. We're smart. This can't be that hard, right? It still doesn't happen, right?
Well,
And
it's not
so
that it's hard.
the
It's just that it's not easy. It's just not.
And are those not the same
It
thing?
takes a reorientation,
Right. If it
reprioritizing,
was easy, you would
reprioritizing.
already be doing it.
Exactly.
It would be your normal habit, your normal pattern, right?
Yeah.
And it takes a lot more effort to create a new pattern than it does to use an existing pattern. But
Hmm.
it takes even more effort to remove the traces of a pattern you no longer want to follow and replace it with a new one. So, this is where, if you're dealing with addictions or things that you have done for decades.
Hmm.
Wow, those are hard to erase. It requires a lot more patience and self love and persistence. And having a support team behind you makes a difference.
That aftercare, I consider that aftercare. I really do. You have this moment in time that gives you a snapshot of what life can be, and then you come
Sure.
back and you add in other aspects of your life, other people, other responsibilities. So that aftercare, I think, is invaluable. That's wonderful that you have that to offer. My
It's what
heavens,
makes the
Zoa,
difference.
thank you
But
so much for being
yeah,
here.
thank you so much. I was going to say that aftercare part is what
I've learned
makes the
so
difference
much.
between a retreat working and it being a vacation. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I love that. And it feels manageable. It feels doable. When you
Right.
have this experience that's catered to who you really are, not to the the Instagram version of what you think you want to be or should be, but to actually have an experience that's catered to who you are, curated to your needs, makes it so realistic that you'll be able to come back and implement everything into your life over a period of time, right? So as you
Yes.
introduce new stressors, you're able to figure out how and where those fit into your daily existence. I love that. This is brilliant, Zoa. Thank you so much for introducing me to all of this. Thank you for introducing the listeners to all of this.
Yes, thank you for letting me. I love talking about these things. I feel like I love opening the door for new ideas and giving you
Yes.
time to kind of percolate and think about how it applies. And then when it's the right time, you'll make that step for yourself.
And when it's the right time, how can listeners find you?
I have two websites, one for my brick and mortar studio and one for my retreats. The
Okay.
retreat website is intentional-vitality.com.
Mm,
And the brick and mortar place where I do a lot of virtual work as well is zenandvitality.com.
love that. Where are you located for the brick and mortar?
My brick and mortar is in Maryland on the east coast of the US, south of DC, in a quiet little place in Charles County. And my brick and mortar is small. I have space for 6 whole people to take a yoga class, but I also have infrared sauna, vibration therapy. We do
Mm.
bioidentical hormones. We do all kinds of things for you. And most of it does not require that you see me in person, right? It's offering ideas, it's offering support and advice, whether it's menopausal, injury recovery, or just place fix everything, right?
I love that.
Yep. And then the retreats is your way of doing it in a more intensive, like, I want to
Yeah.
make a big step. This is really important to me right now. The retreat is the right place to go.
Oh, that's incredible. So I will have those websites in the show notes for you, listener. Be sure to check out everything that Zoa has to offer, learn more, and when you're ready, take that step. Give yourself the gift of exploring who you are, what you need, and how you can be your best.
And if you want a fun way to add to this exploration, I have a wellness plus travel profile quiz. So if you would like to know which Greek goddess travels like you do, then you can take my quiz and it'll tell you what the important parts of travel are for your wellness. And then you can request the email where you get 7 tips for making adjustments to your future travel. Even if you don't go on retreat with me, you're planning a trip. Here are 7 tips of how to make it appropriate for you. So that wellness plus travel quiz
Oh
is
my
just my
God.
intentional-vitality.com/quiz. And who doesn't want to know what goddess they are?
Okay, so I'm going to be logging on almost immediately.
Awesome.
I'm just super curious. I want to know.
Indeed. Indeed.
Well, Zoa, thank you for being here with me. Thank you for giving us more options to be able to find our flow and how we can live, in celebration of who we really are. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Before you go, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and set your notifications to tune in to every new episode. For even more with me, visit nagarelife.com. Thanks for being here with me, listener. I hope you enjoyed this episode just as much as I did. And if you did, please share it. I'll see you next time.